Good day, it's me again, Alan Palmer, and I'm coming with reading number 2 for the complaint that I filed in the California Superior Court in Los Angeles, handwritten complaint, and it is for professional negligence. Negligence per se, vexatious liability, negligent infliction of emotional distress, and the defendant's name are Joel D. Summers, Dario R. McDowell, an unnamed defendant who is a pharmacist, the UCLA Medical Center Santa Monica, and the Santa Monica Medical Plaza Pharmacy. I will put the link for video number 1 in the description box, so if you want to see video number 1, you can look at it, but it is not really for public use, but I'm making it public because it's my way of documenting this complaint as it was filed in the Superior Court. So when Richard Damien Ross steals the original complaint and switch the complaint on the court's website and in the judge's office and give all of the clients his complaint that he has prepared, I will have video evidence of the content of this complaint in order to safeguard and protect myself. Because it has happened before, and if you go in at the beginning of video number 1, there's a more detailed explanation of why I'm doing this reading. So if you have any interest in what is happening, just go and view video number 1, the beginning, and you will see what is happening. Okay. In video number 1, I finished on page 19, the first line, which ended paragraph 87, which was on page 18, which was the last paragraph on page 18. So in order for continuation's sake, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read over paragraph 87, which is on page 18, and I'll continue there. Now, paragraph 87, line 26, page 18. Defendant Summers also ignored common and standard observation protocol that are put in place to protect patients from unwanted, page 19, medical injuries and death. The observation protocol demands doctor and other medical professionals with the authority to treat patient and prescribe controlled drugs, supervised patient observation. To do the following things. The first thing is to give the patient a lower dose of the medication under strict observation. This means the person who is being treated will have his or her vital signs monitored for changes that will alert the medical team of the medication's impact on patients. In the case of amoxicillin, observation will include regular kidney and liver function tests. Such tests, along with the regular check of the vital signs, will give the medical staff an idea if the medication is hurting or aiding the patient's recovery. This vital and common practice was ignored, page 20, by defendant Summers. Plaintiff research helped to explain the overwhelming desire he had, as well as the regular urinating. Plaintiff had never encountered any problem like this before. In order to avoid dehydration, ensuring plaintiff kidneys is flushed, in order to avoid any complication, plaintiff had to drastically increase his water intake to compensate for the rapid and unhealthy loss of water through frequent urinating. All this time, plaintiff's trouble with the pain did not change. This is because naproxen was inefficient to deal with the level experiencing as a result of the wealth of information patient receive from the research, he made the decision to stop taking all medication that was prescribed by defendant Summers, page 21. By this time, plaintiff was in the downtown Los Angeles, brackets, city of Los Angeles, close brackets. A new problem arose. He was still experiencing severe oral pain, but could not go to the nearby pharmacy to get some over-the-counter medication. Plaintiff could not take the chance with over-the-counter drugs. He was not sure how the over-the-counter medication would interact with the naproxen or the amoxicillin he had taken earlier. As a result, he endured the pain and he made his way back to the UCLA Medical Center, Santa Monica. Later, on Wednesday the 5th of September 2018 at 5 p.m., he returned to the UCLA Medical Center, Santa Monica, where he was triaged once again. Plaintiff brought his concerns to the nurse's attention during the triage process. Later, plaintiff was seen by defendant Dario McDowell. Page 22. Dario McDowell entered the examination room with a clerical worker who had in his possession a computer. Defendant McDowell did a short verbal examination. However, before I could completed my answers, he cut me off and said, "The doctor's order is not flawed. There is nothing wrong with the prescription." He also suggested completing the dosage. Plaintiff told the defendant, McDowell, he will not complete the regimen of medication as prescribed by defendant Summers. Plaintiff explained when his kidneys failed because he was silly to complete. He will have no one to blame but himself. Plaintiff could not understand defendant McDowell's reasoning for the simple and basic fact. When liver and kidney functions are compromised, the imbalance and the effects forces the body to find equilibrium by raising body temperature, heart rate, blood pressure, and pulse rate. Page 23. When one considers the plaintiff already had an elevated blood pressure. When one add to the mix another medication that has as its side effect high blood pressure, blood clot, heart attack, and heart failure, this is a deadly combination for a heart attack if plaintiff took the full regimen of drugs. If plaintiff escaped a heart attack, there was a strong possibility his kidneys or his livers would have failed. Defendant McDowell was more concerned about protecting his colleague than he was for plaintiff's medical well-being. Defendant McDowell failed to comply with the Joint Commission of Accredited Healthcare Organization, the JCAHO standards and mandates. The JCAHO standard demand errors be reported to plaintiff and page 24. Plaintiff family immediately, which suggests as soon as the soonest possible moment after being discovered. To this date, No effort was made by Dr. Dario McDowell, who introduced himself as the person in charge of the emergency facility, to inform plaintiff of defendant Summers' medical errors. Defendant McDowell never once informed me of defendant Summers' prescription errors during my visit to the UCLA Medical Center, Santa Monica, on my return visit to that facility. However, he tried to tell plaintiff, who was still in pain, there was nothing wrong with Dr. Summers' professional judgment, and he must complete the regimen of medication as the defendant prescribed. Plaintiff was not shocked at defendant McDowell's action to protect his colleague. It is an expected human response. Defendant McDowell's response worried plaintiff, who, page 25, worried over injuries to his kidney, now in a fight with the doctor over taking bad medication. After a while, defendant McDowell changed his prescription to antihistamine, codeine, Tylenol. And there is a picture of the medication as received, certified by the Notary Public. Tylenol is an anti-inflammable tablet, while codeine is a strong opioid. That is, page 26, is or has habit-forming addictive qualities. It is also a very effective painkiller. This medication was effective in stopping the pain as well as in taking care of the infection that caused gingivitis, which was diagnosed by defendant Summers. The difference between the over-the-counter Tylenol and the Tylenol prescribed by Dr. McDowell is the prescription Tylenol have in the addictive opioid codeine. Codeine is a controlled substance that is very addictive. Prior to plaintiff leaving the UCLA Medical Center Santa Monica, the nurse, in doing due diligence, ran his vital signs once more. Plaintiff was shocked to see the numbers of his blood pressure, which was displayed on the monitor of the hospital computerized unit. The initial blood pressure reading prior to plaintiff being discharged was 279 over 162. The nurse immediately said to plaintiff, "At least you cannot see your blood pressure is a side effect to the medication." Plaintiff informed the nurse, one of the major side effects of naproxen is high blood pressure. Upon hearing my reply, the nurse immediately exited the examination room. Plaintiff have never heard of blood pressure that high before. Plaintiff suspected he was in danger of becoming a new casualty with even more serious problems. Plaintiff blood pressure that high was ideal for a heart attack. Plaintiff knew he had to remain calm. He did. Plaintiff also did some basic mental and breathing exercises to reduce his heart rate. About 5 minutes or so later, when the, page 28, nurse returned to the examination room, plaintiff blood pressure was 162 over 126. The vital sign machine reset and ran my vital sign 2 other times in the nurse's absence. The second reading was 189 over 162. And the third reading was 162 over 126. The reading the nurse returned to. I'm stopped reading here for a while to tell you that I am sure that the UCLA Medical Center have record of these blood pressure checks, but when I went back later to the institution to get official report from the clerk's office, there was no sign of these readings. But I know there are records of these readings because the UCLA Medical Center entire system is computerized and is fed into a particular mainframe. Let me continue. Plaintiff does not understand the reading of the blood pressure and the rapid fall. Plaintiff knows the research on naproxen will offer more explanation as to whether there is a trigger that activates aspect of the side effect. After plaintiff blood pressure reading was seen as 162 over 126, plaintiff was given a prescription for Tylenol codeine, also with the appropriate discharge document. The discharge document on plaintiff return visit to the UCLA Medical Center, Santa Monica, was from defendant Dario, page 29, McDowell, medical doctor employed at the institution in the capacity. Plaintiff left the hospital still in, we are going over to number 30, page 30, but before we go there, this is Dr. McDonald discharge record. Page 30. Pain which he was forced to endure all day and now later into the evening. Plaintiff wondered why the defendant Dario McDowell did not take the liberty to treat plaintiff plain considering the circumstances. Plaintiff felt as if he was being punished for taking an interest in his own well-being. As a result, for reporting the truth as plaintiff experienced them, and for bringing that truth to the attention of the staff. Plaintiff is of the opinion that certain staff would have rather plaintiff complete the regimen of medication and died. Upon being discharged, plaintiff's main focus was to fill the prescription and get the well-deserved relief from the pain he was forced to endure about 9 hours after he visited the hospital. Plaintiff refused to use the service, page 31, of the Santa Monica Medical Plaza Pharmacy for the simple fact the pharmacist carelessly and recklessly handed over a deadly brew of medication without a word of caution. This is the medication that was filled by the Santa Monica Medical Plaza Pharmacy, and it is also certified by Notary Public. Page 32. As a result, he sucked up the pain and walked 4 blocks to the Rite Aid pharmacy where plaintiff filled the new prescription. On the morning of the 7th of September 2018, while plaintiff urinated, he noticed a discoloration in his urine that reflects a person who had jaundice. Jaundice is a malfunction of the liver that results in a person who suffers from such experiencing a yellowing of the white area of the eyes, skin discoloration, and a goldish color urine. This new development made plaintiff even more concerned for his general health and well-being. Plaintiff's initial concern was injury to his kidney. Now plaintiff was worried about his liver also. However, on the 8th day of September 2018, plaintiff urine went back to its normal state as per normal urine based on diet. Page 33. This is not an instance of centennial event where the occurrence was unexpected. Everything that happened to the plaintiff after taking the medication that was prescribed by defendant Summers was predictable. The signs and the symptoms experienced by plaintiff were part of the manufacturer's warning of things to expect. Apart from the worries, fear, and other stresses plaintiff had to undergo, after discovering the dangers that he was exposed to, plaintiff also experienced fear of going to the doctor. Plaintiff is aware that members of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, plaintiff estranged country of birth and citizenship, had employed California lawyer Richard Damian Ross to work against him. Richard Damian Ross has been putting stumbling block in plaintiff's path as well as creating trouble using others for him. Plaintiff is unsure if this incident was one of Ross's plans. Page 34, Ross's plans. As a result, plaintiff is reluctant / fearful to go to doctors and hospital for fear a similar thing may happen with a greater level of success. As a result, plaintiff have not visited a doctor, dentist, or other medical facility for fear a similar thing will occur, or to see if any damage was done to his kidney or his liver. Plaintiff is not afraid of medical professional or medical facility. However, plaintiff have to be extremely careful, for it is so easy to convince a member of a brotherhood or to buy the service of a professional to do just about anything illegal, unethical, and immoral. The doctors and the pharmacists in this case, who are employed in a professional capacity, has specific obligation to an individual when they have the opportunity to see the person in a professional capacity. The doctor and the pharmacist owes the patient in the case of the doctor and the customer in the case of the pharmacist a duty, page 35, to use their learning, skills, judgment, diligence, and care, ordinary exercised by members of the same profession. This is case law. That is not a part of it. This is case law, is not a part of it. I just put it in. Plaintiff conclude, defendant Summers, medical doctor, defendant Dario McDowell, medical doctor, MD, and the unnamed defendant, the pharmacist, according to the evidence, were careless, reckless, and negligent in the level of service they offered the plaintiff. Plaintiff also alleged that the defendant named in paragraph 179 careless, reckless, and their negligence, professional conduct, acted in a professional capacity, endangered and compromised the plaintiff's physical health, medical health, mental health, and plaintiff's life. Cause of action. The first cause of action, professional negligence. Plaintiff alleged that defendant Summers acting in his capacity as a professional medical doctor in the diagnosis and treatment of plaintiff failed to live up to his professional obligation to the plaintiff by providing page 36, a level of care, in so doing, using a level of skill, good professional judgment, and diligence that was ordinarily exercised by members of the same profession. Plaintiff alleged defendant Summers failed in his professional obligation to plaintiff when he prescribed 2 potentially harmful drugs for plaintiff. 2 drugs that was a potential threat to plaintiff medical health and life individually, and 2 drugs when taken together created a potentially deadly cocktail. Plaintiff alleged defendant Summers failed to follow common professional and hospital observation protocol, a protocol that requires professionals such as doctors who feels the professional need to prescribe medication to a plaintiff that has serious or disease-causing, life-threatening side effect, to administer the first dose in the care of and under strict supervision of the professionals, or in the care of another person of professional capabilities who is able to freely treat any harm or prescribe alternative medication to address plaintiff medical concerns or new concerns that may arise. My eyes are burning. I think I will pause for a while. Plaintiff alleged that defendant Summers was negligent when he prescribed amoxicillin and naproxen for plaintiff gingivitis, diverting from the treatment protocol for gingivitis as well as diverting from the manufacturer's use of the drugs. Plaintiff alleged that defendant Summers was negligent in his professional capacity, caused the plaintiff to suffer for a prolonged grade 8 pain. Plaintiff suffering was unnecessary and unreasonable, caused as a result of the defendant's professional negligence. Was plaintiff suffering? Paragraph 189 is being read over. Plaintiff's suffering was unnecessarily and unreasonably caused. Also result of defendant Summers' professional negligence. Plaintiff also alleged that defendant Summers' professional negligence caused plaintiff severe stresses, worries, anxiety, fears, which could have been avoided had he employed the level of training, skills, judgment, diligence, and care that was originally possessed and used by members of the same profession. Page 38. Carmichael versus Raleigh, 1971, 17 Cal App 3D 968978. That is the case law. 38. Continued. Count 2. Professional negligence. Plaintiff alleged defendant McDowell, in his professional capacity as medical doctor, caused plaintiff unnecessarily stress, triggering a sharp spike in plaintiff blood pressure to an extremely high and dangerous level. Plaintiff also alleged defendant McDowell professional negligence was exhibited when he placed his professional priority to safeguard his colleague's professional reputation by covering up. Let me read over this. Plaintiff also alleged, I'm reading over paragraph 193 on page 38. Plaintiff also alleged defendant McDowell professional negligence was exhibited when he placed his professional priority to safeguard his colleague's professional reputation by covering up his colleague's medical error while he ignored the plaintiff's medical well-being. Count 3. Professional negligence. Plaintiff alleged unnamed defendant acting in her professional capacity as a pharmacist. Unnamed defendant handed over a deadly brew of medication to plaintiff. Neglect to bring to the plaintiff attention the possible danger of amoxicillin and or naproxen individually and taken together. My eyes are burning. 39. Unnamed defendant has a professional obligation to customers to whom any such person of the said effect of this unnamed defendant has a professional obligation to the customer to warn any such person of the side effects that can further impair customer's health or may cause death. Second cause of action, negligent per se. Plaintiff alleged defendant McDonnell was negligent in his action and his responsibility to plaintiff as required by the JCAHO. Defendant McDowell failed to comply with JCAHO standards, which required errors must be reported to patient and patient family as soon as possible. Defendant McDowell failed to acknowledge or inform plaintiff of any error of his colleague's defendant Summers, while plaintiff was a patient under defendant McDowell care or after. Defendant McDowell failed to inform plaintiff that there was an error in the treatment protocol for gingivitis. There were errors in the observation protocol, and there were errors. Page 40. in the manufactured recommended use for amoxicillin and naproxen. Defendant McDowell also failed to inform plaintiff that the combination of the medication was potentially deadly. It was a potentially deadly brew when taken together. Third cause of action, vicarious liability. Plaintiff also alleged defendant UCLA Medical Center Santa Monica employed defendant Summers and defendant McDowell and did provide the facility the opportunity without the relevant oversight in place to keep both defendants accountable and responsible on a consistent basis. Plaintiff also alleged defendant UCLA Medical Center Santa Monica failed to provide the required level of supervision to ensure defendant Summers and McDonald maintain a level of professionalism that is required and expected by other professionals in the same professional practice. Count 2. Vicarious liability. Plaintiff alleged that defendant, the Santa Monica Medical Plaza, page 41, pharmacy, employer of the unnamed defendant did provide the facility and the opportunity to the defendant without the relevant oversight to keep the defendant accountable and responsible. Plaintiff also alleged defendant Santa Monica Medical Plaza Pharmacy failed to provide the required level of supervision necessary to ensure pharmacists maintain the level of professionalism and care required and expected by other professionals in the same professional practice. Cause of action. Fourth cause of action. Negligence, infliction of emotional distress. Plaintiff alleged that defendant Summers' action in his professional capacity as a medical doctor, being a doctor-patient relationship, defendant Summers' negligence caused him to undergo severe emotional distress when he failed to follow established medical and professional protocol, there being sanitary, page 42, observation, treatment, and medication protocol. In doing so, defendant Summers caused plaintiff to experience fear, worries, stress, anxiety that his health and life was seriously compromised. Count 2. Plaintiff alleged that defendant McDowell, acting in his professional capacity in the effort to protect his colleague, defendant Summers' bad practice, used his authority to put plaintiff under duress by insisting plaintiff take bad medication. Defendant McDowell created an extremely stressful environment, putting plaintiff in fear, worries, anxiety, and stress. Prayer for relief. Wherefore, plaintiff pray for the judgment on the first cause of action on all counts against all defendants for their professional negligence. Plaintiff also pray that compensatory damage be awarded to plaintiff as well as punitive damage based on the degree of personal professional negligence and the level of distress and the seriousness of the professional infringement. Page 43. Plaintiff prays for a judgment on the second cause of action on all counts and against all defendants for negligence per se. Plaintiff also prays that compensatory damage be awarded to plaintiff, as well as punitive damage based on the evidence, the degree of the negligence, and the possible reason for the negligence per se. Plaintiff prays for a judgment on the third cause of action on all counts against all defendants for vicarious liability. Plaintiff also prays that compensatory damage be awarded to plaintiff based on the evidence and the level of culpability the court pleads on all defendants. Plaintiff pray for a judgment on the fourth cause of action and on all counts against all defendants for the negligent infliction of emotional distress. Plaintiff pray for a judgment in a compensatory damage and be awarded to plaintiff based on the level of suffering plaintiff was forced to and reluctantly endure. Page 44, and reluctantly endures, page 44 beginning. Plaintiff prays that the court award to plaintiff compensatory and punitive damage that is fair and justified based on the findings. Jury trial demanded. I, Alan Palmer, declare that I am the plaintiff in this complaint. This complaint was prepared by me, and I declared under penalty of perjury, and according to the laws of the state of California, the foregoing information are true and correct from the best of my knowledge. Dated 5th, 13th, 2019, signed Alan Palmer. End of complaint, end of video, end of watch.